Hey people, what's going on? Yeah, I need a shave, but so what? It's Monday, the 11th of March. Hello and cheers. Little foggy this morning. It was a good weekend, but I went to bed early. I have to watch my diet, and I overdid a little bit on the sugar this weekend, so I have to watch that. I'm just getting moving this morning. Daylight savings time. It messes with us, doesn't it? It messes with me. So a bit of a period of adjustment. I do like the fact that the daylight is that it's light longer when you make the switch. I like that, but have to make the adjustment. How are you all doing? Did you have good weekends? Anything cool happen this weekend? Here in Omaha, there was quite a bit going on, but I just sat it out. There were several shows. Bombay Bicycle Club played here. I liked them, but I didn't want to go to the show. I like their records. Really wasn't interested in going to the show. A local kid, Kyle Justin, I'm gonna call him a kid. He's a man, but he's like a kid to me. Has really taken to free jazz and has been playing and started touring in the last couple of years. He had a show last night with Daniel Weish. Daniel, I've met and played with. He's out of Chicago. I just didn't feel like going, but I saw clips of it today online, which is the nice thing about one of the nice things about technology. So I could see that he had a good set. I'm more interested in playing than going to watch. That's really where it's at. So I wake up to a message from Mike Watt, and I had made a mistake. I thought that I was supposed to talk to Mike Watt next Monday, but it was actually scheduled today. But he got a hold of me saying that we have to postpone it because of let me see. Due to the heavy rains out in California, it's knocked out the internet. Having to do this in front of the coffee shop and having a repaired truck line for all of Pedro. So we'll reschedule. I actually am embarrassed. I thought it was next Monday. So I was, oops. Tomorrow, though, Michelle Highway is my guest on the channel. We'll be talking about her documentary about Damo Suzuki, as well as her. I don't know really much about her. So let's find out about Michelle Highway. Ooh, excuse me. I didn't go to the record store. This is for a whole week. And the only record that came out on Friday that has my interest in buying is Kim Gordon's The Collection. I think that's the name of it. I like the Psychedelic Orgasm, the video and that music. I like that. But so let me just share because I had guests. I had company every day this weekend, which is not necessarily unusual, but it was like, you can go for a long period, can't you? Depending on the type of person you can go for long periods where you don't really have anybody stopping by the house. So I had guests Friday, Saturday, and yesterday. And it was good. And part of what was good about it is, again, to touch base, stay in touch with people, but also to kind of see, what I see about life and people is very true. We all live from our own projection out. No one is on the same plate anywhere. No one sees the world or the information of the world the same. Each of us is on our own trip. And it's just neat to compare notes, to just see what other people think sometimes. So that was cool. Music wasn't the main topic of conversation in all three visits. The one yesterday with James, who is working with me on the Muse 2, that was more musical than the other two. But I'm thankful for my friends, my family, and my position in the community. I'm just thankful, and I just remain thankful. And I think it's important to keep that frame of mind so that I can enjoy life, because there's just a whole lot that is wrong these days on a large scale. But perspective, you get it done on the personal, and there's stuff to celebrate, right? Always. Okay, so working on my set for, so now I probably have 2 shows. I'm going to be confirming one for May here today. But I've got April 20th, 420. So I was talking to James about what I have planned for that show. He's going to play, and hopefully Blake will play too. But I was able to catch up with James and talk about Blake. And Blake is going through changes. Blake is a Chet Baker type. If you know anything about Chet Baker, the trumpeter, Blake is a modern day Chet Baker. He's blazingly talented, but kind of a mess. No offense, I mean, no offense. I'm telling the truth. So, had to talk about that, might be switching gears regarding the Muse 2 in order to get it done, since Blake is not as available as I need him, and his life apparently is needing attention. So I was able to talk to James about that. So anyway, there's no rush. That's one thing I'm feeling. I think it's age. Even since this time last year, I'm feeling much more relaxed about doing nothing. I don't have anything to prove to anyone except myself. I'm not missing out on anything. There's things going on, but if I'm there, I'm there. If I'm not, I'm not. I'm not missing out. And just feeling good day to day means a lot. So that's where I'm at. Just keeping it real simple. Simple and thankful. So let's get into some records. I played a little bit of music. I watched some TV. I watched some sci-fi. And I didn't enjoy any of it, really. Not to the point where I'd say, oh, this is really good. Which reminds me, I'll show a record. My sister and her husband, Floyd Norman, they're out in California. I don't think they went to the Oscars this year. They've gone to the Oscars many times. And Floyd is on the Oscars. He's one of the people who judges the films. He gets packets of movies throughout the year. He actually gave me one, and I showed it one time online. He said, don't show that. They don't want you. I thought it was funny. He's saying, the Academy don't want you showing that, I said, well, okay, I'll take it down. But, people find stuff like this in the pawn shops out in California. So crazy. But anyway, no interest in the Oscars, just none at all. So I pulled this because I want to like this. They're coming in June, Mars Volta, Octahedron. I like the one before this, Deloused in the Comatorium. This one, I don't like this. I like the way it looks, which frustrates me. This is I like those colors. I like this art. But the songs on here, I like the more manic stuff. I don't get what they're trying to do on this album. I've listened to this many times. I'm keeping it but it's like I don't get it. And I'm on the fence about going to the show because concerts are expensive. I think the minimal price for tickets is $70. So that was a disappointment, honestly. As a listen, I listened to most of it, and it's like only one track came alive for me. Everything else was ponderous and slow and kind of interesting intros. But once the tune starts, it's like, I don't like this. On the other hand, hold this and play this. Hadn't been listening to Sun Ra in a while. Celestial Road, this is a cool one. This is funky. The rhythm section, he's got some funky bass player on here. Steve Clark and Richard Williams playing bass on here. At times, it seems like it's out of context, and yet it's not with the rest of what's going on. Sun Ra, Celestial Road. This was good. This was not good. I keep it for my collection, but this album is uninspired. Gong, Expresso II. It's a keeper because you get to hear Alan Holdsworth, but these tunes, most of the tunes on this album suck. It's my opinion. Especially the way it hit me yesterday. The one before that is like really vital and fresh and enjoyable. Espresso, the first one. Number 2 is like, But I didn't get all the way through it. I know there's probably at least one good tune on there, but it starts off terrible, in my opinion. So if you follow me on Facebook, I did a couple of uploads where I was saying, I'm going to play some records that I never play. And here's one of them that I showed. Burton Greene, presenting Burton Greene. I think this is his first album, 1968. Pianist. We were friends just before he died we were friends on Facebook and corresponded just a little bit just before he died. Interesting album where you can hear that this is a first effort and it gets better as the album plays. It's like, literally, it sounds like they recorded everything. The first track is like, well, we're warming up, ballad in B minor. But by the time we get to Slurp, the second track and then side 2, things are jamming. This is also an early recording by the saxophonist Bayard Lancaster. And you can hear his emerging talent. Like I said, on the first track on this one, it's like, what? But again, it might also have been my frame of mind. But I'm fairly critical all the time. I listen to music deeply, even when I'm listening to it and doing other things. The music is commanding a lot of my attention. So I notice things. I love music. I didn't hear it, but it was on the radio again yesterday. Love it. Regular radio airplay in Omaha. It's nice. I love knowing that people are hearing me play that bass. Here's one that started off the day yesterday of, let me play this. I'm always looking at the spine. I never play it. Synergy, Larry Fast. Semi-Conductor. This is a compilation double album. And I started on the wrong side. I started on side 2, which is several covers. It starts with a cover of Classical Gas, which is completely forgettable. But almost the rest of the album is really good. And I've met Larry Fast. I ran out of film when I met him, so I don't have a selfie. But I got to meet him when he was with the Tony Levin Band, and we chatted for quite a bit because I am interested in synthesizers, and it was very obvious that he was happy that someone was interested in talking to him. We had a lovely chat. So that was a good play. The day before, I was watching Sublime Media over in Sweden. Jonas, if you see this, hello. And he had mentioned this album, Linda Perhacs, Parallelograms. This is a reissue, numbered reissue. This has gone way up. I was surprised to see this is $100 album now. And the original is hard to find. But Linda herself says, you know, you don't want the original because they botched it. It's really low quality on Cap Records. So if you have one, it's rare, but this is the quality issue, and it's a double. And this is timeless. This could be now. It's very cosmic and beautiful and acoustic and beautiful. Real cosmic and spacey. I love her voice. I bought one of her more recent albums, and I like most of that too, where she keeps it up. Linda Perhacs. This is a top album in my collection. Top album. So my friend Nick, not the one with the baby, the other Nick stopped by, and he's in much better shape, as I told him. I said, you know, when he came by, you look better. I said, you're doing better, aren't you? I said, yeah, I told you. It's a cycle. Do you kind of see now? I mean, more and more, I've told you a few times, it's a cycle. It rises, depression. He says, yeah, because nothing has changed except the day. So we had a good conversation, a lot about politics, because he, as a young voter, I want him to be informed. When he started to talk about Robert F. Kennedy as though that was a viable option, wait a minute, have you listened to anything that motherfucker has said? And he said, no. And I said, well, then how did you come to that conclusion that he is a viable candidate? Because he's a Kennedy? That's frightening. Get some information. Anyway, a few years ago, I gave him a stereo. I gave him one of my extra turntables and a unit, AM/FM CD unit with speakers and everything. So I gave him a stereo and some records. And since then, it's come to my attention that one of the records I gave him, it's like, well, it's not that I really like it, but it's like I'd like to have it back if you don't really want it, because it fits in my psychedelia era collection, even though I still don't like the record. And he said, well, let me listen to it. We brought it back to me Saturday rather. Greene, To Help Somebody. This came out, 1971. So back in the days of cutouts, I got the first one, the other one with the green cover. Got rid of that. And then many years later came across this and got this. I don't like this. This is not what I like. It's like I don't like it. It's kind of hoedowny, but it fits in the collection, so I'm glad to get it back, if you know what I mean. As I've said before, if I come across old records from the 60s and 70s cheaply of a certain vintage, I grab them still. It's nostalgia. It is. Last thing that I think that I played new, because I listened to some music with Frank on Friday. But last thing I listened to myself was this, David Hykes and the Harmonic Choir, Harmonic Meetings. Turns out that the guy who illustrated this album cover, my album Future Still, that painting is by Don Campow, who has a avant-garde radio show. But it turns out that his wife was in this choir for a while. I don't think she's on the album, but they don't give all the names of the choir members. Excuse me. This was wonderful. This was a wonderful way to start off whatever it was, Saturday or Sunday. These singers know how to do that overtone where you get the overtone, the way that you shape your throat, and you get 2 or 3 tones at the same time. This is wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful music. So there's that. And so last thing I'll share is, as I was talking to James about my show coming up, I was sharing with him how I'm making new arrangements of some of the songs, because I will concede that I can't think of his name, but the people who make the progressive rock documentaries, it's a series. He was saying he thinks that my compositions, my stuff needs to be longer. And as I was looking at my set, I started to see, well, yeah, I need to extend this for several reasons. So working on my music, and that was part of the visit with James yesterday. This got pulled. It's in there in the Dereck section. This is what test pressing is this? This is one of my collages where I bastardized the inside is still the original gatefold. What is this for? Oh, this is not a test pressing. This is a one of a kind. I forget what year this was, but one year I got restless and said I want something on vinyl, so I ordered a one copy only lacquer cut of this, and these songs are only on here. It's a one-sided, and the cut is crap. It's like, I should have known that, but it was like I was just chomping at the bit. I want a new vinyl. I want a new vinyl. So there's that. Okay, people. Let's hope for something good this week. We know something bad is going to happen this week. Let's hope for some good stuff. And tomorrow, my guest, Michelle Highway. Let me know how you're doing, folks.